Wolfgang, welcome. It's a real pleasure to having you here with us. Wolfgang, you went in wrong direction. People from Serbia,
here are going outside.
From Bosnia, from Macedonia, from Croatia are going into yours, Austria, and you came here in Užice, in a village of Kremna, to live here with your family. How that happened?
Well, we were invited. We were invited to friends. And while visiting these friends, we came with them to Tara because they were interested in looking for a place, a possible house. So we came with them. And then we spent the night in Mečavnik. And while we were there, my wife at the next day said, I'm not leaving. I'm staying here. And okay. She just felt to stay here. She asked me to bring the friends back home because we were driving our car, and I went up and brought them to Banjaka village, and we came back, and overnight she found a place for renting where we could actually stay for a while, for a month, just to see. And actually that is the story why we came here, and then all other things came from that place. Why the feeling was so strong to stay here was just to feel very welcome, the connection to nature, and her grandfather's brother was a famous painter in Dubrovnik. And there was one painting, he had a lot of paintings, and one painting was special. And when he was talking about this painting, and he was looking at this painting, he said, Toitio Tara.
That painting was?
This painting was from Tara, he was here, and somehow that was a very special, I get goosebumps.
Oh, me too.
That was really a special thing, what she observed, where he connected to something.
To her past and then her ancestors.
And when we came here, she connected to that. She realized we are in Tara, we are here, and everything was just like she arrived.
Like this is it.
Yeah. That was the story why we are here.
What was the year of your arrival?
2014 in November. For me it was very special because when we met in Banjaka village, it was 100 years, First World War. What you can imagine for an Austrian is a very special occasion, because what happened to 1914 was actually a person from Serbia killed the Austrian crown prince, and that was the beginning of the end of the Austrian monarchy.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is also the place where I found myself in front of a monument with a Serbian man looking down the mountain where actually the fights of World War I started. And I realized where I am. And it's 100 years ago. So for me it was a very special moment, because I felt like it took 100 years to process that. Actually, I didn't feel any negativity, nothing, but I became aware. And you know what war means. Recently, Serbia had a war, and Croatia. There is deep wounds. There is
unhealed,
unhealed wounds. And even when we are open and friendly, there is in the subconsciousness, there is deep wounds. What connects me to my job of breathwork, to actually process this. How I came here is, I'm guided. I didn't choose to come here. I came here because I was led to be here. What we were doing for the years before, we were looking for a place where we wanted to create our family, our home. And we looked in Austria, we looked in Croatia, we looked in the south, in the north, we looked everywhere. And when we came here...
In Kremna?
In Kremna.
You found a peace.
We found a place and it was a yes.
Tell us about Kremna. We know, especially here in Užice and also, of course, in whole Serbia, that Kremna is a magical place, special place on many different levels. But please, tell us
your perspective.
About your perspective, yes.
Well, I mean, when we came here, we learned that there was the Kremna prophecies.
Yeah.
So there was these old stories of Kremna, Tarabic prophecies, and that's a very powerful place. And that was just something what was giving me a clarity about that we came somewhere where is a special place. For me, that's not unusual. I come to special places, so I was not surprised that this is a place of magic. What it connects to is very powerful energies. It's a very powerful place of very powerful energies. In terms of breath work, we are on 850 meters. So I wasn't surprised that we are on 850 meters, which is usually the place where recreation centers for lung and heart diseases are built.
On that height?
On that height is a very special configuration to support breathing. So when you had a lung surgery, a lung disease, to come on this altitude in a recreation center is the best support to actually take anything away what makes it hard to breathe. So this altitude, the environment, the quality of the air, it's just, I figured that out later on. That was not my choice, but later on I heard there is air testing and I don't know what else going on. It's pure nature, it's best quality of water, it's best quality of air, and that's just where we are.
So compare it your life with life in Austria, in Vienna. How was in Vienna and how here in Kremna, depending on quality?
Yeah.
For example, I mean, I'm sorry, I am interrupting. Vienna is like, I mean, like the best city in the world for living.
Yes.
And that's more interesting, yeah.
Yes, most livable place on earth with Melbourne, I think.
Yeah. So, can you? I mean, can you? Yeah.
Put it in perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
So compare.
Your life, of course.
It's depending on what you're interested in.
Mm-hmm. Everything, food, water, breathing, air, friendships.
Yeah. I mean,
relationship with people.
Yeah. I mean, personally, it's depending what.
Yeah, somebody maybe is better for some other type of people. Maybe, depending on affinities. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important to know what I'm personally interested in. If I'm interested in distraction, in living in a city, having food, not caring about the quality of food, you care about the taste of food, but you don't care about the quality of food, then Vienna is possibly the best city in the world to live because of also the air, because of the Danube, there is a lot of wind, it's a very clean city. But if you're interested in natural living, a city stays a city. A city is concrete, it's a built place, it's not natural. Vienna is a very green city, so it's as green, as good as possible, but it stays a city.
Still is a city.
A city is a city. A city is a marketplace. In a city you live on the marketplace. So you're permanently affected by advertisement, somebody wants something.
Yeah, a lot of information,
yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of everything. Yeah.
Being in the nature, in the village, means having peace. I'm, as a breathwork coach, I'm deeply interested in peace, but there is something you also have to have the peace. And I remember very well, more than 20 years ago, I was not interested in peace. I wanted the distraction. So having the environment of going out was very important for me, and I always wished for being in a space of relaxation. I wished for relaxation, but actually I couldn't handle the relaxation. So
because your interior was not balanced and
the
prepared for.
interior is creating the outside. So what you have in the outside is what you create in the inside. So I don't shift the outside, first I shift the inside, and then the outside is following. So to be living in the nature, to be living in the city, you need to prepare, because there is nothing left. When you are on your own, there is nothing left what you can blame.
Yeah, accept
When you're on
yourself.
your own, it's obvious if something is not right, it reflects on you.
And you're responsible, and yeah.
If you're in the city, it's this, it's that, it's him, it's her. And if you're living on your own, there is nothing else left to blame.
Yeah.
And that was my process. And when I look today where I'm living, I'm most happy being at home with my family alone. But that was a process. If you would have put that on me 20 years ago, I would have freaked out probably. It wouldn't have been possible. So this is a process of, so people living in the village, unconsciously, they have a capability of doing something what is away from distraction.
Especially in this crazy time where there is a lot of
when the
distractions.
focus is so weak
Yeah.
about.
Short focus and everything, yeah.
Could you recall that moment when you came and all the stuff that needs to be done to have a house and food and everything?
Well, we came to a place where was nothing. So we created. It was an old house, and some trees were growing, so everything was like a jungle. So we had to clear the space, and we built it up completely from scratch. And that was very interesting, because also my wife, she started with farming. She had some experience before, but really the garden, everything was developing. And
We have to mention that your wife is from Dubrovnik.
My wife is from Dubrovnik, yeah.
Yeah.
And so everything was growing organically, one by one. And that's beautiful, because I discovered woodwork. I did some woodwork before, but now in our wooden house, I built all the furniture inside, my children's stairs to the attic. So it was very creative. It was a very creative time to construct, to...
Especially if you put love and your passion and everything.
Woodwork is amazing. Woodwork is such a beautiful material. And you touch the raw material, and you see it slowly shaping until
like
it's the finished product. It's a work for the soul, and I love that. And that was really something special for me in the village. I'm also making men's groups, Circle of Men, and it connected me to some inner
like community.
peace.
In your inner peace.
It connected me to some satisfaction to see a product, what I created. And for me that was really essential to have something, to create something, and to have a finished product which I can show my wife. So there is something I created, and she says, yes, that's it, what we need here. And she actually connects to some functionality and beauty what I created. That was very, very special.
Also, yeah.
Yes, that was very special.
Tell us about the people that you, people of Kremna, of those guys.
And can you
and
compare people, for example, people from Kremna and people from Vienna?
Maybe people from Serbia and
Yeah,
people
people
from
from Serbia,
Austria. It will be more precise.
Yeah, more precisely. Yeah, that's right.
Well, you know, when I would see it, life in Austria is more fast. It's more cultivated, and here in Serbia, it's a bit more simple, but more centered to family. Family is more important. You see that on Slava and everything what's going on.
And community.
And community. So there is more connection, and
that connection is also lost in
the cities.
Most of our people, but I suppose that it's still stronger than in Austria.
It's stronger,
yeah.
And that is what my message is to Serbian people. Protect that. Because if it's gone, if the village is destroyed, it's hard to rebuild it. And the village is the foundation for the city. What really is there for me, when I came to the village, I saw people stopping and talking to each other. And this is hardly visible in Austria. Just this simple, it's the simple things. To have time to stop and to talk to each other. What I also see, people are more laughing, being together and just, you know, there is the child which comes out and you just are foolish.
Yeah.
This is there because you have some time, you stop, you take the time. And these are really missed in Austria.
Why? What do people in Austria do when they have no time? Are they working all the day, 24/7?
They're busy. Maybe we come to the point. I feel very welcome in Serbia, because I mean there is the thing. Refugees want to go to Austria and to Germany and to Switzerland because of the money. When I come to Serbia, people ask, "What are you doing here?" So there is not an obvious reason. If you come as a refugee to Austria, it's like, you want to have what I have. So people are more protective. Because people are afraid that you take something what they have. Coming here is like feeling welcomed. Because I'm one of some versus one of many. So when you have a lot, there is the fear that it's taken from you. What I also see in Serbia, people are a bit in a lack. But this is also some feeling connected to there is not a lot what you can take from me, you know? This is a protection of, I'm not afraid.
I can go today and go wherever you want.
Yeah, there is no boundaries around.
Yes,
you know,
yes. So there is a secret behind when I know that there is not too much. On the one side, it's a longing and makes people going to other countries, primarily for finances. But there is something here what is like, there is less fear. There is less fear. And that's a quality. That's a quality which makes us being more easy. And
more alive, maybe.
And that I saw in the pandemic. People were more relaxed with the situation. In Austria, you wear a mask and everybody was very
hysteric and
hysteric.
Yeah.
And here it was more
relaxed.
Yeah. It was more down to earth and seeing what it is. In Austria, it was very overprotective. I have the feeling. So for me, it was the perfect place to be here in nature, with the people around. So there was not, everybody was careful, of course. But everything what was coming out of common sense. I mean, of course you're not hugging and you're not handshaking, and that's common sense, it's normal. But at the same time, there is a natural distance, which we should have anyway. So if people come too close, the question is, isn't the person too close? So there is this natural instinct of what is a good distance. That's my personal feeling about
that.
Also interesting, especially when you come from other country, and when I listen, I can see that you analyze good because you come from other country and you see maybe better than our people what we have and what
maybe some qualities of ours, and also some bad
I mean,
things.
we know with money comes responsibility. And when you're not able to deal with the responsibility, it goes into fears. So be careful what you're calling. If you call money, you can end up in a golden cage. And that is very often in Austria. People are afraid and build alarm systems and fences around the houses because there is so much what you could take. I mean, they're afraid about it. And it potentially can happen, of course. But this causes fear about protecting what I have.
And not enjoying in life,
And that keeps you enjoying life.
Blocked, Yes.
Especially in villages, some houses even are not locked.
In many villages, we don't lock it.
Yes.
So churches in villages are also unlocked. So
this is very really subtle advantages, not necessarily connected to have little money, but usually when we have more money, then the fear appears because we didn't learn how to deal with more money. It's about to have a natural approach to have money. If you just get a lot of money, you will be very overwhelmed. If you just get a lot of money today, if you give a lot of money to somebody who has no money, the person doesn't know how to deal with that.
That's right.
And eventually, that's the reason why I have the book Think and Grow Rich here. If you give somebody money who doesn't know how to behave with it, he will in 5 years, he will have the same money as he had today because he doesn't know how to deal with that money.
Maybe even more problems and same amount of money.
Having a lot of problems and issues.
Like so many people get lottery ticket and get a big amount of money and most of them didn't handle that well. Yeah, that's right.
A lot of these people have big problems, physical, health-wise, a lot of problems coming up, and eventually almost all of them lose the money. Because it's a mindset to have money. It's not about I have no money, I want money. It's about to create the mindset to actually create the money or to keep the money. So, it was very interesting. I learned it in the last years. I didn't know that. For instance, about the people who have a lottery win, most of them, they are famous because somebody knows they have money, but within a short time, they lose it all. Because when they don't develop their mindset, they come back to their poverty mindset. So it's about to make the inner work and then everything else create. Everything else creating. And that's the magic. That's really good news. When I make the inner work, my life will develop. And then I can maintain it and I can stand behind it because I know what I did to create it. And that's what I'm here for. I like to show people how that works. It's a mindset and everybody who is open can create that. And that is part of my work I'm doing.
Okay, we will go back on that further. You told me that there is no happier person than you probably in universe. When you came in Užice to shopping or some small business, you put car on the street, all 4 lights, and you go to the.
Wow, that's
you was shocked at first time, I guess, when you arrive and see.
But you told me that when you were a kid in Austria was the same, and now it's not, and here it's still such a relaxed approach to some problems or important things like traffic is.
Yeah.
So
well, that's a huge topic because it's changing.
Yeah.
When I came to Serbia, what I really enjoyed, doing things out of common sense. Like, you have a road with two lanes, and like on the main street here in Užice, and you just need something from a shop for a minute, two, and you stop the car because you don't hinder anybody.
Yeah. You don't hinder. That's the point. You don't make any trouble.
Cause troubles. Yeah. So you stop for alarm flashing, and you go in the shop. I enjoyed it. That's so beautiful. In Vienna, you have to find a parking for half an hour, and then you go in the shop for a minute, then you go back, and it's such a waste of money and energy for driving, and I really loved it. That makes so much sense to me. It's another thing if there is a lot of traffic, then you should go on. But if there is like no cars, go in, get it out, and go ahead. It's so productive. What I'm seeing is that's disappearing. And there is days where police is actually very present, and if that's there, I heard there is guys who are making photos and they tow you away. And EU will have a prize. And that's these nice, common sense things. Because with the regulation, these things which make sense just disappear because of a law, because of an order.
And complicate everything,
It makes it more complicated, yes. So.
And that is what are we waiting for, because Serbia, it's maybe 10 years, most 15 years behind Europe, but not more than that, 10 to 20 years we are late, and we are waiting a wave of that, of positive things and negative things that will came with that change.
That will impact us.
With that wave which are coming.
Yeah.
You also told me that nature is Austria wasn't so wonderful, and like on pictures when you were a kid, it was dirty also, and now it's clean, but the soil is dirty with the fertilizers and agriculture. Here in Serbia, it's not clean, it's dirty, but the soil is good, still good.
Yeah. Well, what the good news is, when I was a child, we had these wild depots of garbage in the mountains. I saw that when we were trekking in the mountains. And that was very fast solved because of people started to creating a mindset to not throwing everything anywhere, but throwing it in a garbage bin or collecting it and throwing it on the right place.
On the right place, yeah.
On the right place. So I see there is a lot of garbage in the woods on wild depots, and well, people just need to learn.
It's a
to
process.
have it nice, you just put it in the garbage bin and you have a nice environment. What is the difference to Austria and I would say the Western world is because of the agriculture. A lot of natural soil was destroyed because of chemicals.
Too much chemicals on soil. Yeah.
A lot of chemicals to have more production and GMO manipulated. So I see in Kremna at least there is a lot of place where people are just not planting. There's a lot of natural place. So I see more nature here. I see more untouched nature, less cultivated nature, but that's good news. Not cultivated is left alone.
Yeah.
There is
and
place.
also using natural fertilizers and also.
Yes.
You told me about a bear.
Yes, I mean, here is animals. There is bears and
Wolfgang,
wolves.
Here I am.
There is bears and wolves in the mountains, and I saw wolves. And
You can't see that in Austria.
in Austria, no.
No.
There might be some, and you hear about them, but here I saw wolves up in the mountains, and one neighbor had an encounter with a bear. So they are here, and this is very special because they have a natural way of a place where they can live. And we have people, friends up on Tara, and they had a night camera. Yeah, and the bears, the animals were coming, so they are here. And they usually are staying away from people because they love peace. So they are not actually coming to us. If you see a bear, you're actually lucky. There wouldn't be naturally easily an encounter with a bear because he smells you and he goes the other direction. And same for wolves usually. They have no interest in us. What they want, of course, they want the food. So if there is not enough food in the mountains, they might come down for hunting some sheep maybe. And then it becomes bothering because, then...
Or honey.
Or honey, yes.
There is some problematic bear on Tara which steals honey.
Yes. But if we manage actually the issue about somebody's missing a sheep, what is also a financial issue, if we manage that, actually it's a kind of...
supportive for bear community.
I mean, having wild animals is a good sign.
Yes. For life in wholeness, you know.
We need the ecosystem,
yes.
And we say we don't need the animals because of we are interested in finances. That's a very short-term view. On a long term, when these animals are not here anymore, something is missing. Something is simply missing.
Yeah, when you don't see bear or wolf or
bird.
Then something
something is missing.
Pandemic year, I think in Mumbai or I don't know where, in India, people were inside for some period and the birds came. And they hear...
We need to be aware that we are disturbing nature.
And we need to respect the nature as much as possible,
When we go to nature, we have to learn how to behave. And it's not nature needs to be cultivated towards us. There is one saying, if bees disappear, there is no life on earth. When there is no bees, there is no fruits, there is no flowers. When bees are not here, life will disappear. When human beings would disappear, nature would be reflowering.
Yeah,
and we should think
soon.
about that.
Very soon.
We should think about our behaviors.
Especially in these times when so much polluting and so much destroying of nature and this world, That's a good message actually.
And every single person, no matter where we live, should think about it. How we live and what we are living and why we are living that. Lots of things we are living because of somebody wants us to buy something. So that is how we consume and we don't connect the dots. And when we consume, we throw something away. Also when it's in the garbage bin, we have to think about our garbage.
It's not
Lots of European garbage lands in Philippines.
And other Asian countries,
It lands somewhere. We really have to think about how we create, how we consume, how much we consume, what we do with the garbage. And it's all of us. I'm not excluding myself. It's about to think how we do that. And we are many. We are almost 8 billion people on the planet. We are many. There was a difference if we were 2 million, but now we are a lot, and this is increasing and shifting.
We lost that touch with nature, especially in these modern times, and maybe we lost our thinking about waste and protecting nature and respecting nature. And we, as you talk, we need to back to nature, or to come back to nature, to our roots. Do you think that nature is actually our roots? And
of course.
yeah.
I mean, we are animals.
Yeah.
We are mammals.
So your general message to Serbian people is that we will eventually put garbage in right spot, but we will, if we destroy soil, we can do anything about that.
Yes. Yes.
Great.
And the soil and the woods is still a lot of nature. There is still a lot of nature here. Because for a long time there was also not the financial resources.
Maybe that's also a blessing when there is no so much money, and
it's a total blessing,
yeah.
because you cannot do so much stupid things. Really. You cannot do the things everybody else is doing.
you can buy BMW or Audi or...
It's about to enjoy. You know what the thing is? As soon you have more, it's about to stay in the joy. If you realize that the joy is going, think about if the more is really serving you.
Don't think, I want more, without any purpose to get better car if this is doing the job, or get bigger house if you enjoy in that one house.
Yeah.
More is actually a less.
I had a huge house in Austria. I enjoy now the little house because it's much
more than in bigger house.
It's more comfortable. It's a natural house. I feel much more safe health-wise. It's just a contribution to who I am being. And it's everybody's choice. That's fully okay.
And that's beautiful to hear.
I had a huge house and I'm much more happy in the little house. As a little house, in a moderate house, which is great for all of us. When I was in the huge house in Austria, which was around 300 square meters, I was thinking, how will that be when I'm old? When I'm old in such a house, how to maintain that? It's so much space. It feels threatening.
Kind of disturbing, because big house and
now we have a house with 50 square meters, and upstairs in the roof it's maybe another 30 square meters. It feels like when our sons are not there, when they leave, it feels like this house is moderate and great for us when we're old.
This is what we need.
This is what we need.
Yeah.
This is what we can maintain. This is like...
And this is enough.
It's enough. It is enough. It's more than enough. With a family with 3 children, you need that. But with thinking about later, it feels like, wow, that's a comfortable, huge comfortable place for just being 2 of us.
And feeling kind of cozy, and then that sort of energy.
Still cozy, yeah. When the space is so wide. So that is how I experience it. It's okay if somebody wants a bigger space. I'm not criticizing that. But for me, I had the big thing, and now being in a smaller place just feels perfectly right.
That's good message for people that even have good standard, have money, and that are not thankful for that have, and they want more, but they don't are thankful for that they have. So yeah.
Gratitude for anything we have.
Gratitude
we saw it in the
attitude.
pandemic. To go out was a gift. To be grateful what we have.
Yeah.
That's the art of actually also staying healthy, being grateful.
That's good starting point for everything.
Yeah.
For everything in life, being grateful.
And from this place, more creates, and then we can be happy with the more.
Yeah.
But we must be happy with what we have right
and
now.
After that, we will be happy with more. But don't bother if we don't have more. But if we have more, okay, even better. But don't be bothering with.
And that's an attitude. It's not about what I have. It's a mental attitude.
Yeah, we need to work in ourselves too.
Yes.
Be happy with.
When we speak last time, you told me one significant thing that I was completely unaware. I told you that my wife lost father premature, and Branko also doesn't have a father. And when we went to the cemetery, on ceremonies that follow after that and everything, I noticed that graves are mainly men graves. On 10 graves, 9 are men's and one is women grave. You told me that that is because of war that we have on this our region, and no one from politicians didn't wanna took responsibility for that. And those guys who were in war by their own, completely alone, just pay with life. Could you tell us a little further about that? Because I think that this is a really subtle thing that it's happening around us, and most of people are unaware of it.
Unaware about what?
About increased amount of men's death in Serbia and I suppose in Bosnia, same, and Croatia.
Well, it's obvious. I mean, if you, for instance, I didn't have a grandfather. Both grandfathers I lost in World War II. So I have never met one of them. And that has a significant impact on our society, because I realized that my father didn't have a father. So how shall my father have learned how to become a father? And that has an impact on everything. Not only on the son, but also on the daughter. Because a father being in his strength, because he had a father and the father had a father, means that the boy and the girl learns how to be in the presence of an adult man. So that has a massive impact to have a father around. And that was taken by the wars. And here in Serbia and Bosnia and Croatia recently. We know today that children which grow up without a father, through divorcement or whatever, they are significantly higher impacted by bullying, troubles in school. So it's just because of a father is there, it creates an environment of children. Harmony, yes. Not to say that...
Self-confidence and...
Yes, it's about to be in a good space with each other, of course, but it has a quality when the father is there. And when this is not happening because of war or sickness, disease or divorcement, then we create an issue in the society. Not to say, I mean, there is not to say that women have to carry something when there is nothing right in the relationship. If there is abuse, I mean, we don't talk about that, but
we don't talk about
basically,
that. We talk about
when the man is there, it creates an environment which is nourishing the space for the children.
What about the responsibility of politicians that you told me? No one took responsibility for that wars.
What did you expect?
I'm not expecting anything. Just I want to be more, aware of that and to understand that topic better.
Well, nobody goes to war because you're mad about the other country and person there. It's a political decision, and then you don't have a choice. And when it's impacting the families, then yeah, you have to carry that. It's a society issue then, and we need to be aware of that. I think the politicians who were responsible for that, they are not here anymore. It's about awareness and creating the space that people can become aware and deal with that, and create an environment where people can talk about it and share these things. That is very important.
Freely.
Because this is traumatized. It's something what in the subconsciousness is, it's still there. And it creates an environment of fear.
Yeah. You are a breathing teacher, and most of your work are based on breathing.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Could you tell me how something so close to us, you know, without food, you can live probably 3 months, 4 months, 2 months, I don't know how much. And there's cases that people lived even 1 year without food. Without water, as I know, you could go a couple of days, yes. But without a breath, you could...
Few minutes.
A couple of minutes, maybe 1 minute. Average person, which is not some sportsman and have huge lungs, 1 minute and you're gone. So how something so close to us is probably the farthest thing from us on whole planet. How that happened?
Well, there is various reasons. We are not talking about breathing, we're talking about conscious breathing. We cannot forget to breathe. That is, our brainstem cares about that we breathe unconsciously. So we cannot forget to breathe. Unless somebody or you're underwater, or you have something in your mouth and you cannot breathe. You cannot forget to breathe. What is a difference is when you take a conscious breath. And the breath is the only vital activity which happens unconsciously, and you can take it consciously over. For instance, you breathe naturally and you can make... So you can decide how fast you breathe to a certain extent, or how deep you breathe. You can take a... So you can, to a certain extent, control it, but you don't need to control it. And that is giving the breath a very specific quality which connects us to the subconscious and to the conscious. And when we go to the point of where the conscious and the subconscious meet, we can actually expand the subconsciousness, becoming smaller by consciously exploring the space. And why that is happening? Because we live unconsciously to the highest extent.
For many things, yeah.
So your habits, your bad habits, usually are something what you do and you don't even know why. So when you create a space where you increase your consciousness into the subconsciousness, you can actually influence your habits.
And you can analyze yourself better when you start to doing that, yeah.
You find out why you do it, and then you can change it.
And how to change it.
Yes.
Amazing.
So we find out why we do things. And if you're interested in why you do things, then that's useful. If you're not interested in why you do things, then you don't need it. So people come to me who are interested in why do I do things I would like to change, because just changing then rubbers back like nothing. You change it and in 2 weeks you do the same thing. So you need to create to create an environment where you can really change the habit to a new habit. And we all know the New Year's wish not to smoke, and a week later or 2 days later you smoke again. It doesn't work. If you want, you can create it for a while, but you find yourself in the same space. And when you conscious breathe, for instance, then you create an environment where you figure out why do I do things. And out of this space you can create a new habit, and you really, you define you create yourself now, new.
So that help to bring us that subconscious to conscious and to analyze what we are doing and how we are doing. So those types of breathing exercises help us and impact all other parts of our life to analyze and to become better persons and to have better quality of life. Yeah.
Yeah, you are interested in yourself. You start the inner world. With the breathing, you connect to yourself. With a conscious breath, you come into the moment. For instance, that's the reason why panic attacks won't happen when you're consciously breathing. Panic attacks are connected to the past and to the future. And I invite you, take a conscious breath. And just feel the difference now.
A little bit calmer. Yeah.
You're more here. And when you're here, the panic of a fear, which is not real, cannot happen. So for instance, asthma is a fear of the fear. The reason for asthma is you already are afraid of an attack. This creates so much stress that you actually create
more of that.
You're creating attack.
So when you calm down, when you come more in the moment, you're not afraid of the future, but you actually relax, and that brings you in the moment, and that makes a difference. It makes a huge difference.
So breathing helps us, especially in nature, bring us that moment, to live in the moment. I read somewhere that 80 or 70% of people live in the past, and that's the problem for many people. And like 10% living in the future, missing the point living in the moment and missing the living the life.
And that's the reason why there is no joy, because you're in the past with some problems.
Anxious with that struggle.
Yeah, you're not in joy because there was something happening, and what keeps you in the past is something what was bad.
You're not there, yeah.
That did happen or did that happen, and it keeps us in this old experience.
So, again and again and again.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
And you hear people talking about old events consistently. In the most conversation, you hear people talking about what happened.
In past.
That's good for nothing.
Yeah.
It just keeps you in something what was happening.
You can speak once and that's it. Analyze it and put it in ours and finish with that. Yeah.
And most of the time you don't even need to analyze it. You just come in the moment and create you really create the future now. Yeah. So if you're in the past, you're not the leader, you're not the creator. You're a victim.
Yeah.
We should be aware when we talk about the past, anytime, and for sure consistently, we are in a victim mode.
And most of people are in the victim mode.
The creator is now with a vision in the future, but it's coming out of now.
Yeah,
you don't create in the future,
yeah.
You create now, which is the foundation for the future.
Isn't life more tasteful when you live in the moment? Especially like you are living in the moment and you have that experience. Can you share with people that is more enjoyable to live in the moment?
Just to make clear, I'm not living in the moment all the time.
Okay, yeah.
But I know it, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And what
especially when you are aware of that.
What the direction is to expand this presence, you need less. You are with what you have here. Like for instance, you taste, you know what you're eating. It's different with everything what you're being. It is the difference with everything.
Totally different experience, yeah.
Yes.
People need to know that. Yeah.
How the breathing, conscious breathing came to you? What was the trigger for that?
There is two.
Who was the call?
There is two levels to it. The one was I was having a job in Austria, very successful job, big job. I had everything, and I was driving my amazing car with all my amazing things, and I was not happy. I would say back 25 years ago I had a burnout. But 25 years ago there was no name to it. I just felt so empty.
Empty shell. Yeah.
It was empty. Anything I would have added to it wouldn't been able to bring joy. And I thought about that. And I realized something is wrong and I don't know what to change. So I went out of the corporate environment and I had to change something. And then I started with meditation because I had a friend. I went for massage. I thought massage is good now. I go for massages. So she massaged me and there was a point where she said, I cannot help you. But there is a meditation that might help you. So I just took her advice and went there. So I went to the meditation, I met the people, I tuned into the space. It was very challenging because that was not my world. And I just started with meditation and I realized whenever anything was coming to a point of going through something, somebody said, breathe. And I remembered when you have a birth, I mean not you, not I, when there is a birth, the midwife says, breathe, breathe. So when we are processing something very intense, somebody says, breathe.
When you are angry, and you're not that angry anymore. Yeah.
It would be very beneficial if somebody would be there and say, breathe.
In some those of hard moments, yeah.
Yeah. And out of that I realized, hey, there is the breath. Somehow the breath is very essential. And in Vienna there is a breathwork school and I just had the impulse to go there and I started breathwork and that's the way
Starting
how
to
I
research.
started.
Yeah.
Why I started this, I just realized 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
When I was in the belly, while my mom was pregnant with me, I was almost aborted. When I was coming to the world, I had my navel cord around my neck and there was a blue baby. And when I was about 3 months, I had a lung infection. So in the belly, at the birth and afterwards, I had 3 events where I almost died. And they were all connected to not being able to breathe. What caused, I really was reduced in my energy, and for the first 33 years I was frequently sick. And when I started conscious breathing, I didn't get sick anymore. So this event of conscious breathing solved most of my issues by just breathing consciously, going through processes, clearing things within myself, creating a space where I can breathe through and healing inside. So actually the real reason for breathwork is because I couldn't breathe when I was coming to the world. And it was already there programmed that at the end I need to care about solving my issue about breathing. And everything else was created out of this desire. That I went to this masseur, she told me about meditation, the realization about breathe, and I found the place where to
Maybe God
learn.
sent you message through the...
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you send your message yourself.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
Back then, yeah. You told me also that you have a problem to have a child.
Yes, back then.
Back then.
Back then it was...
After first session?
That we were ready to have a child, but it didn't happen. We were not able to conceive a child. And when I started conscious breathing, 1 week later, our first daughter was conceived. And that was because there was so much tension, and when I released, the relationship released, and actually a baby was able to be received. What I think in our world, we have so much control how we want to create our life, and there is not the right moment for it. And then we want that the child is coming, and I know more and more couples have issues in conceiving children. I think nature just doesn't work that way. And the more we create and put pressure on the situation, the more we are tensed, and with the tensed energy,
nothing can be done.
Nothing can receive to really open.
You need to let it be and let it
Because
go.
to receive a child, you need to be open. So when this is closed, it might not work. So my experience was, I took a conscious breath, and a week later, she was there. And just the way how it happened.
Great. Some proposals or messages to people of Serbia and
especially
Balkan.
young people in
Yes.
small places like small places, small villages. Do you have message for them, especially for people who are thinking to go to bigger places?
Or in Austria.
Yeah,
Who are considering option to go in Switzerland.
What you have to say to young
or
people?
Germany or Austria. We know that in Croatia it's a real
problem.
Pandemic of young people living in Ireland or Germany or I don't know where. So your message to them?
To look what we really need. Money we cannot eat. Unhealthy food doesn't serve our body. Natural water is something what our body can receive. So when there is chlorine in the water, when the water went through pipes for distances, we have water, but the water is a different quality than water coming from the mountain. So to actually not fall in the trap of what looks like shiny, to look what's behind. To trust his own intuition and to look for their own intuition.
Yeah.
And I think young people are very connected to this intuition. And I really believe in young people. I really believe the changes come through the young people. Because we are having the necessity to make big changes. And my trust is the young generation is capable of doing these big changes. My message to the young people is their intuition is right.
Great.
Really great.
Do you have some
I
questions
don't have
for the
anything
end?
to add. I mean, I had really nice experience with this talk because Wolfgang have good analyzing because he is from other country and have better perspective maybe because we are here don't analyze like that and
Yeah, we are not.
after that we maybe more respect what we have here, truth, and we will respect more what we have and this is really great message for people to don't grab, to don't go into consumerism and this capitalistic state of spending, buying everything too much and less is more and to live with nature, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, money is very, very important.
Yeah.
But it's not everything.
Yeah.
And to see what I have, I think is a good foundation and to build on that. And there is a lot here. What I see, there is a lot here what you cannot buy with money. And that is really a core message. And create from that the money you need. And it's possible. That's how nations are flourishing, because it's out of the mindset of creating and not out of wanting. And this creation is very attractive. And I think in Serbia there is gold. Because of what it is, there is gold here. Because of what is kept here. I truly believe there is a treasure here.
That waits to be discovered.
Yeah.
Poštovani gledalci, dakle ne idite u Njemačku, u Austriju, u Švajcarsku, sem na neko lepo putovanje. Ovo je bila Kava i Rakija podcast. Branko, Bojan, Igor iza kamere, Wolfgang, naš užički Austrijanac je bio večeras sa nama. Vidimo se.
Pozdrav.
Pozdrav.
Pozdrav.